Hey guys, what's going on? This is going to be my Enhancement Shaman PvE guide for Totemic specifically. I have another guide for Stormbringer if you're interested in that, but this is for the War Within Season 3. Now, Totemic has fallen behind quite a fair bit in single target, but somewhat keeps up in AoE with Stormbringer, but it's much more difficult and a big old pain in the butt. I'm not going to lie to you now. If you're just picking up Enhance, I'd recommend checking out Stormbringer instead until you get used to that, and then maybe try out Totemic. But again, Totemic is weaker at the moment, so it's up to you. But yeah, Totemic is definitely much more difficult. But basically, with this guide, I'm going to go over gearing, talents, and rotation. So anyways, let's get into it. So for gearing purposes, it is basically the same as Stormbringer. You want haste and mastery. For those of you that want to really push the limits, I would use raid bots to sim your character a whole lot, figure out what's better and what's not, that type of thing, because you can hit caps. As for what those are, I have no idea because the sims keep pushing haste onto me. Now, I personally prefer Stormbringer, so I am more built towards Stormbringer right now, but again, I will tell you what is needed for Totemic. So, as for gearing, I go with shoulders, helmet, legs, and gauntlets. Basically, these are the best combos because you can get a really good chest out of the raid thanks to Forge Weaver Araz. He gives you this nice chest plate with heavy mastery. As for your cloak, you're going to want to put mastery in it rather than haste. The reason being is Totemic uses a lot of elemental damage rather than physical damage, and it's focused around lava lash hits rather than spending your maelstrom, unlike Stormbringer. For your embellishment, it's the same. I use Writhing Banding with a Ascendance face smasher, so you can use Dawn Threading if you want, but because you're using the belt and you got boots out of the raid that you're going to need for the bonus effects of Reshi Wraps, I just find it best to go with Ascendance, and it's really good in general. As for trinkets, I think Unyielding Nether Prism is going to be your best match for this build, comboed with either an Astral Antenna or a Pacemaker from the Floodgates, so you can get that. The other option is going to be from Dawnbreaker. No, not Dawnbreaker. Priory of the Sacred Flame, the Signet Priory. Or if you're lucky enough to get your hands on it, you can use the Forge Weaver or as Ritual Forge. I don't think it's nearly as powerful as the Unyielding Nether Prism for Totemic, but it is definitely a crazy 2-minute cooldown. So yeah, so in my opinion, the best combo is going to be Unyielding Nether Prism with either the Antenna or the Pacemaker, whatever you can get your hands on. So Unyielding Nether Prism seems to proc a lot and is quite insane, and I do have a weak aura tracker for it now. So if you're interested in those, grab those ones. Other than that, you could get the one from Dawnbreaker, which is pretty okay. The crystal, it procs a random stat, and it actually does some decent damage. It's not too bad. Or you can go with the Sack Brood, which has lost a little bit of power, but still very, very good. Other than that, a good mastery stick would be the Lily of Eternal Weave. This is pretty powerful, but I would still say the raid trinkets are better on uses than the Lily of Eternal Weave. So, but whatever you can get your hands on, get them. Ideally, Unyielding Nether Prism and Antenna, I think, are the best. But that's just my opinion. Sim what you get. And for your belt, I would definitely throw Electric Current on there rather than Spark Burst. Electric Current just gives you a flat mastery stacking effect, so that'll make you hit very, very hard. Other than that, not much else. Yeah, so that's about it for gearing. Trinkets are the most important part. Focus on haste mastery as much as you can and go from there. Sim your character as much as you can if you're really interested, or just focus a lot on haste and mastery. So now that we're over with the gearing effects, let's get into the talent trees. Alright, so if you are familiar with Totemic from last season, it's the exact same. It really is. The only thing that's different is the tier set, which makes it the reason why it's such a pain to play. But anyways, you're focused around Lava Lash, little combination with Doom Winds thanks to Primordial Storm being such a heavy hitter, and you got Elemental Blast and Storm Striking. So it is a lot of generating and spending, but for the most part you're just trying to trigger hot hands effects so you can smash that Lava Lash button as much as possible. For the AoE, it is very similar, but you have Sunder. So Sunder is a big cooldown thanks to our favorite button, Earth Surge. Now, if you remember this from Season 1, it went quite insane. But, so basically, whenever you hit Sunder, you cause your totem to erupt with big damage. And Sunder, thanks to Molten Thunder, in massive AoE scenarios, you can get a whole lot of procs. You can get back to back to back, hitting those massive numbers. So that's where it keeps up in Mythic Plus, but in single target, it does fall behind. And then you also have your Doom Winds and Primordial Storm combo. So it's not a whole lot different. It's the exact same as last season, just the tier set makes it a bit more of a pain in the butt. So again, you don't have Lashing Flame, so you don't have to worry about hitting multiple targets or anything like that. And all you're basically doing is lava lashing and sundering. That's basically it. So now that we talked about the talent tree just a little bit, let's get into the rotation and priority list. So getting into the single target rotation, I am not lying to you when I say it is a big pain in the butt. Thanks to our fancy new tier set, whenever we use our whirling element motes, which is when we drop our totem, and we consume it using Flame Shock, Lava Lash, and Elemental Blast or Lightning Bolt, for instance, our totem casts Primordial Storm. After casting Primordial Storm, whether that's us casting it or our totem, our next Lava Lash or Fire Nova, which is complete uselessness, casts again at 150% effectiveness. So that is why it is a pain in the butt, because you do not want to cast Lava Lash without hot hands if you have your tier set active from your storm. So that's one of the reasons why, because it's a huge DPS loss. But the other reason why is because you have to use Totemic Recall to reset Surging Totem and do this whole crazy opener thing. It's an absolute nightmare. It truly is. So, but because I'm committed, we're going to go ahead and do it. So to start off with, you want to basically drop your totem before anybody pulls. So you got the countdown going. It's probably 5 seconds, 4 seconds. You're going to drop our Searching Totem. Bam. Dropped. We're going to reset using Totemic Recall. We're going to run in. We're going to Flame Shock, move our totem up. Feral Spirits. Then we're going to Primordial Wave, Doom Winds, Lava Lash, Primordial Storm, Lava Lash again, Elemental Blast, drop our totem once again, Lava Lash, Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Elemental Blast, Lava Lash, Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Lightning Bolt, Storm Strike, Storm Strike. And now we're kind of in this flow afterwards, and then we're going to want to Elemental Blast and just go back to generating and spending. You want to make sure you save Feral Spirits so that way Primordial Wave is active and you get that comboed with Primordial Storm. So we go ahead, drop our totem as soon as it comes back up, and we want to spend it. Boom, it does its thing. We got Hot Hands, trigger effect. It's so much work for such little damage. It truly is. But if you like it, you like it, and that's your fun. And I am not going to judge you yet. But yeah, it is definitely an absolute nightmare of an opener. And once the opener's over, it's a bit easier to get the hang of. But again, it's too much work. Too much work. But anyways, the AoE is a bit easier to get into. So let's get over to that. Okay, so for AoE, it's kind of the same, but a little bit simpler-ish. When I say ish, I mean very-ish. So same thing is you're going to drop your totem, you're going to Flame Shock, you're going to you're going to Feral Spirits, then Primordial Wave, then Doom Winds, then you're going to smash Sunder until it's on CD, and then you're going to spin with your Primordial Storm, and then you're going to Lava Lash, Elemental Blast. You are not casting Chain Lightning, you are casting Elemental Blast. The reason why is Elemental Blast actually provides more value. So to start off with, we're going to drop our totem, and just like single target, we're going to reset it. I know, it's pain. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Drop totem, reset, Flame Shock, move our totems in, Feral Spirits, Primordial Wave, Doom Winds, Smash, Sunder as much as possible. It's on cooldown. We're going to spin. We're going to Lava Lash, Elemental Blast. We're going to drop another totem. We're going to go ahead and Lava Lash again, Elemental Blast, Lava Lash, Lava Lash. We're going to go ahead and bring more spirits out. We're going to Chain Lightning because we have no more Elemental Blast. And then we're going to crash to get our buff up in between. Basically, you want to cast something in between each of these Lava Lashes. It is what it is, but you're waiting for the cooldown to come back up. So every time you can, you're going to go ahead, Primordial Storm. And now we have our totem coming back up. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and smash a Lava Lash into a AoE Blast, into another Lava Lash, into a Sunder spam. So you can probably see why there is a pretty hefty nuke onto Totemic, just like last season there was, is thanks to Sunder's erratic resetting. It does significant damage, triggering some massive tremors from your totem. And each one of your Hot Hands Lava Lashes also triggers a Sunder, which then triggers a Surging Totem effect as well. So, but again, this is such a pain in the butt build because you have to reset your totem. You have to watch your stacks. You have to watch so much and not do certain things. It's so much work compared to Stormbringer, and you get less value out of it. It doesn't make sense to me. And Fire Nova isn't in the build for whatever reason. Fire Nova, they just want to get rid of it. I don't know. But yeah, guys. Anyways, that is it. That's all I can take of this spec. I'm going to be honest. I had such a hard time recording this, and it was very frustrating. Now, I have used Totemic on a few raid bosses. Specifically, I did it on the Demon Hunters, the Triple Cleave, and it actually worked out pretty well. I did enjoy that over Stormbringer because they were a bit more spread out, and I got a little bit more damage value out of it. But again, it is such a pain to play. I honestly didn't want to play it ever again. I'm not going to lie to you. So Stormbringer is definitely the way to go. But if you are interested in playing Totemic, then do it. It's definitely an experience. I can give you that much. It's definitely an experience. And it does provide some significant explosive AoE burst. It really does. So that would be the big benefit of it. But anyways, guys, that is it for this guide. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps. And I hope I wish you the best of luck in Season 3. Laters!